Welcome to A Dark Path, a podcast exploring the depths of witchcraft, magic, the occult, and all things mysterious. Join us on this journey into the unknown, down a dark path overgrown. Find spells and rituals, folklore and legends. Come, set your candles alight to clear your mind and unwind. Delve into the shadows to uncover a dark path.
Welcome back, everyone, to A Dark Path. This is a podcast exploring the depths of witchcraft, magic, the occult, and all things mysterious. I am Kristen, and I am just always so happy to learn and find new things and hear different sides and views. I'm so excited about today's episode.
I'm Allyson Hemma-Romane. I am a word witch, and I also like hearing different perspectives and learning things.
And today we are joined by Tabatha. She's the owner of Phases of Life Crystals. Could you tell us a little bit about what you do? And do you call yourself a witch?
Well, I'm Tabatha, and like you said, I own Phases of Life Crystals. I work with crystals in making jewelry such as bracelets, anklets, necklaces, earrings. We also have lots of statement pieces and tinies, so they come in all shapes and sizes. We also do customs. I love working with crystals and learning about their powers, and I'm still learning and will continue to learn. Yes, I'm a witch. Do I like to call myself a witch? Not necessarily, but I'm just a spiritual person who is out here trying to learn.
I really wanted to have her on today because not only does she have a crystal business, and I think she's incredibly knowledgeable, but her story is an interesting one, and I think that it's one that people need to hear. So, Tabby, will you share with our listeners how you came to own a small crystal business and your spiritual journey, real brief?
I'll go back to rock hounding with my family, as we would always go on little trips and go hunt for geodes and crystals and stones. So I feel like it kind of started there. I saw my mom doing some really cool and weird looking things with her crystals at some point in my teens, and I was curious, so I asked questions. I learned and I got really into it, kind of dove head first. And then in the midst, I lost myself becoming a drug addict. And after I got clean, crystals brought me back into my healing journey, which led me to many more numerous things. Crystals leads you into the alchemy, which leads you into the practice, which leads so on and so forth. And like I said, I'm still learning. How the business started was I was dreaming of it for a long time by myself. I didn't share it with anybody. And I came across somebody who was selling things they had no idea about. And I got a good deal and I started it and it snowballed. And now me and my husband enjoy doing it together.
Let's move into why crystals are important to witchcraft. If you'll recall in episode 2, I talked about New Age witchcraft, New Age religion from the 70s and 80s. And there's a gentleman, a channeler, as I think he referred to himself as, named Frank Alpert. I've seen it both ways, that referenced the myth of Atlantis, right? So we kind of talked about how he believed the civilization had lived off the power of crystals and that the fall of Atlantis was solely due to a ruler's misuse of them and greed or something like that, corruption. But yeah, this tale that Frank wove in the 70s and 80s is really the foundation of crystals in spirituality, crystals in New Age witchcraft, crystals in modern witchcraft, the whole gambit. Today, crystals refers to a wide variety of solid materials, not all of which are true crystals. A true crystal, scientifically, is based on the microscopic arrangement of atoms inside it, called the crystal structure. So these are minerals, solids that have a specific arrangement of atoms in a periodic arrangement that is crystalline. It is believed that they impart healing energy to living organisms. Some crystals release energy via pyroelectricity. Electric charge is released when temperature changes. And then some crystals are piezoelectric effect, which means the electric charge is released when there is mechanical pressure applied. Not all crystals emit this energy. Okay. We're still studying them and still learning a lot. Witches today see crystals as conduits of energy, which is scientifically being proven in the modern era. We use them to send intentions and energy places. We use them to attract energy, shield energy, and transmute energy. Common uses today are marking a circle if you're Wiccan, honoring deities. So some deity worship involves specific crystals that correspond with specific entities, jewelry, and tools to adorn and amplify intentions and energy. And then in spell work, we use them to repeat and amplify intention and energy as well. Let's jump into discussion. What was the first crystal you ever worked with?
So my first crystal, I actually got a hematite ring that was passed down from my great grandma. And I thought it was just the prettiest thing. It was black, it was shiny, and I just loved it. And I wore it all the time. And I just always felt better. Once I got older, I realized like, oh, hey, we have these tools like books and internet that I can figure out what this ring is. And I looked it up and I found out it's a hematite ring. I just kind of put all the pieces together. It's a very good grounding stone. It's a very good protection stone. And it actually honestly came to me in part of my life where I really needed a lot of like protection.
I was told by a therapist to buy rose quartz. Actually, this is a little blurry. I think I bought smoky quartz first off like Tamed Wild. I told her about it. I don't know. I bought some smoky quartz and it says that it helps with this. And I've noticed I've had more energy. And she was like, oh, get the biggest piece of rose quartz that you can because you're like hella depressed. So that was kind of like my first experience. It was like all in the same month. And then after that, I was like addicted.
The first crystal I ever worked with in the practice was clear quartz. Like I said before, my mom, she is the one that kind of got me started because I was curious and she saw I was curious. And so she kind of started with a crystal that you can pretty much do anything with. You can manifest, set intentions with clear quartz for anything in your life. It's also just like a really good balancer. It's like your chakra stone. That was the first crystal that I worked with. And it was actually one that I found in the little river that we went rock hounding in. So I thought that was pretty neat too.
Why are crystals important to you?
So first off, crystals are shiny and pretty and I love them. So that's
Kristen's
definitely
a Taurus. This is your episodic reminder that Kristen's a Taurus.
I like pretty and shiny and I like things that make me happy and rocks do that. So that's really important. But also it's just a way to help you. I mean, I had another therapist as well that was like, you like rocks, carry a rock with you. Doesn't matter which one. Talking to her later, my intuition was going to pick which one. But I didn't know that when she told me. I got this little tiny, of course, it was hematite again, kept it in my pocket. And she said, every time you feel anxious, rub the rock. Something as simple as that. It's just bringing you back into here and it's bringing you back
Grounding.
into now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that was just one of the biggest like things for me was like, I can use this. It can help me.
Where I'm coming from is a place where you're not feeling anything, right? You're feeling so numb, like so you're feeling so much that there's nothingness. Holding some sort of a quartz crystal in your hand, you're feeling the frequencies that are emitted. Like I can feel it. Like I resonate very strongly with frequencies that are emitted by quartz crystals. It just makes me feel better. I feel more at peace, or I have, like you said, that grounding, right? So I'm more present in my body, I'm more present in now, things like that. So to me, they're so important just for the grounding aspect in and of itself. I don't necessarily need all of the other stuff in my own practice. At the end of the day, for me, it comes down to like sensation and how it feels. It's so hard to explain. And I know like if that's not an experience that you have, it sounds so woo-woo. But that is a very real experience to me. I'm very sensitive to how they feel on me. Being able to feel that power is magic to me.
For me, I think it kind of brings me back to my child self in a way, because I feel like at some point, all of us as children picked up rocks and put them in our pocket and collected them. Just so happened to be that mine were, like actual crystals and gems. So a part of it takes me back to being that innocent child, but also after my hardships in life and I reconnected with crystals, when I first reconnected, it was like, oh, they're pretty. You know, just like Kristen, they're pretty, they're shiny. I love them. Look at the drusies. Oh, look at the colors. But it wasn't until I really started researching and learning the healing properties, the properties actually in the like in themselves and the structures, and learning that each crystal has its own DNA. It really stuck with me. And then, like I said before, everything else in my healing journey just kind of snowballed. I just love what they do. I love how they make you feel. I love, like Kristen said, they just make me happy. So they're important to me because I like having things that make me happy. And
Yeah, nothing wrong
even
with
when
that.
I'm having a bad day, if I hold a crystal, then it can make me feel better.
What crystals would we recommend to beginners? We touched on it earlier, clear quartz. I think clear quartz is a great crystal to have around. It's an amplifier and it kind of is a workhorse as well. You can use it for, I think, anything and everything, any kind of spell, any kind of thing that you're trying to attract. It'll boost banishments as well. I think that's a great one to have around. I'm a little biased, but I think stones for mental health are also a great thing for beginners. Even if
Yep.
you're totally well adjusted, I think it's nice to have something to help support you. Something like uplifting or protective would make a lot of sense in my point of view.
Crystals that I would recommend to beginners is protection. I think everyone should use protection. That's not fun. Everyone can have or should have protection. And also the chakra stones. I believe that's a really easy guide. It's easy to find. It's very accessible. You know, rose quartz, amethyst, lapis, amazonite, green aventurine, citrine, carnelian, all to fit all your chakras. I think those are all perfect beginners because there's so much information on those stones because they're used so much in the chakras.
It's balancing too.
Yeah.
It touches on what I talked about, where it helps you be more not in alignment, but it helps balance your systems and can regulate you, right? So that you can tackle things better.
And everyone should have their chakras aligned.
Wow, if Heidi was here, she would love that. Kristen, what about you? What crystals do you recommend for a beginner? Let me guess. Hematite.
I definitely I love hematite, but it's one of my like I don't know my it's not like a heart chakra thing. It's my heart stone because it just helped me so much. Protection and grounding, never a bad thing. There are so many energies and so many things that we run into just on a daily basis that it can help you with. I am also very along the lines of quartz. I feel like quartz is so multi what's the word, multifaceted. Like there's so many things that it can do, and then you can also define like, is it a rose quartz, is it quartz this, quartz that, quartz. Onyx probably is my other one, but it's so close to hematite that I've noticed.
Love a good onyx.
The biggest recommendation though is go with what resonates with you.
Oh,
Just because
snap!
yes, because just
I
because
was gonna
onyx is
say
so
that,
great.
girl. You got this.
I may hold an onyx and be like, yes, this is the best thing ever. I can feel it. I'm going to take on the world. It's just a rock. Like, what? And then they'll pick up like tiger's eye and be like, this is the one. And if that resonates with you, figure that one out. Start, see what it does for you. Play with it. Have fun.
I'm actually kind of jealous you said it before I did.
But
I'm going
that's
to
just,
leave
I
that
mean,
in. Basic stone care do's and don'ts. Some of us transmute our crystals rather than like full on cleansing. So if I'm in a hurry, I can like absorb whatever's going on and then release it. I'm still getting better at doing the releasing part. But another way that you could cleanse your crystals is like being outside, right? Like putting them back on the ground, letting them chill in the grass.
I mean, definitely, I do my own cleansing of my rocks and charging of my crystals and doing all this fun stuff, but I don't know each individual specification. With mine personally, I do a lot of like cleansing with smoke, typically incense, sometimes the Palo Santo or herbs. I love lavender. You can run water over your crystals. One thing that I really want to say with that is I know that there are some that do not take well to water. So please, 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 if you're listening, research your crystal because you don't want to destroy it. Setting it in salt. Some people use a salt wash. Some people just put it in salt, like a jar. I like to just set it in a jar with salt Usually for me, that's after I've done the smoke cleanse. So I'll smoke cleanse, set it in salt. And then what I'll do is I'll charge it, which is drawing the energies of whatever you want back into it. So depending on what type of crystal it is, I charge most often with the moon. So I leave it overnight under the moon. You can do it really anytime depending on the intention that you're wanting. There's also sun charging. So you can also do the same thing, leave it under the sun, and it's going to take the energies from the sun. And you can charge it with sound. I don't know much about the sound cleansing myself. I have had a sound bath and I really enjoyed it. And I highly, highly, highly recommend it. But for crystals, it's kind of a similar thing as to humans because they are also made up of components. Tabby, with the multitude of crystals that you have, do you have like go-tos or like things that you really like?
My two go-tos, just like you, moon cleansing and smoke cleansing. I like using rosemary. You can use pine, you can use cedar, you can use really any kind of smoke cleansing. Palo Santo is another good one. But a lot of people don't know that there is actually another crystal that you can use to cleanse your crystals, and that's selenite. You can buy a lot of like bracelet holders that are actually made of selenite.
Oh my gosh.
You can buy little selenite flats that you can actually set your crystals on. I do recommend cleansing your selenite every like couple of months just because it is absorbing what your crystals have absorbed or released into the selenite. So again, you still have to cleanse the crystal. And I do believe that setting tourmaline next to a crystal absorbs the negative, like the negative vibes it may be holding, the negative ions, some people call it. On the quickness, if my crystals have been sitting on my little bracelet shelf for a long period of time and I need a quick like cleanse, I have started to put them in my recently purchased sound bowl, and I just ding it a couple times and they're good to go.
I
Yeah.
love
Love
sound bowls for
that.
cleansing crystals. I just do a little concert and then line them all up on my windowsills for the moon.
Oh
And it
my
even makes
God.
it a little bit cooler of a sound because now you have that stone inside and you're dinging it, and there's like a vibration that you can actually hear, and it's not just the sound bowl, it's now the crystal, tapping in different frequencies on the sound bowl. And salt water, like actual ocean water, like salt
Mm.
water. Again, like Kristen said, do your research. A lot of crystals such as selenite, a lot of calcites, they cannot get wet, they will crumble into pieces.
I've never had one that had been that type that would actually like, break down or dissolve. But then I like researched that and I was like, oh my gosh, like I would have been the person that would have melted and then I felt bad.
Mother-in-law learned the lesson for me.
Oh gosh.
I remember the phone call. She's like, Tabatha, my bracelet went into pieces. I left it in my pocket and washed it.
Oh no.
Oh, I'm
Always
so
check your
sorry.
pockets. Check your pockets before you go in the wash, especially if you're someone like me that puts them like in my bra. Like
Same.
you take off your bra and then like rocks go flying. Like be careful.
Did you know that selenite can catch on fire?
Oh my gosh, no.
I want to add this under the do's and don'ts before we move on. Our lovely friend Andrea, that we had on the podcast from Rucker's Herbal Homestead, makes wonderful topped candles. And she had made me one custom with like this kind of chunk of selenite. You know where this is going, don't you? I can see it in your face.
I'm like, oh no.
I lit it and I scorched the selenite. And so I put the flame out, but the selenite was still burning. And I was like, holy cannoli, artichoke. And so I called her and I said, yo, what did you do to this rock? It's on fire. And she said, it's flammable. What?
And me owning a crystal business, I had no idea until today.
What?
And now you
That
know.
selenite
Do,
on
do, do,
fire.
do.
So here's your
Wow.
episodic reminder for fire safety, kids.
I am wondering though, because we did talk a little bit at the beginning about lab made versus the natural made, like in the earth, or like, stones. But I'm honestly wondering, polished or raw? Does being polished and being like shaped, is that more beneficial? Like, what are your guys' thoughts? What do you think, Tabby?
It's funny that you asked that because when I got back into my healing journey and doing the whole crystals, I was strictly raw. I was like, raw is all I searched for. I felt like if it was touched, cut, polished, it doesn't have that healing energy away because it was this one form that was created by the earth. And now it's been cut and diced and sliced and polished. And I'm like, it's gone. The power's gone. But in doing the business and learning, like I always say, I'm continuously learning, the elements are still there. The power is still there. So to answer the question, I love both. I have lots of both. I don't have a preference. Although I do love a druzy in my crystals, which is obviously raw and natural. Yeah, so maybe a little bit more on the raw, but I also like them polished. I love them all. I love them all.
Again, it always comes down to, for me, what resonates. What do you get the most from? If it's something that you can hold round in your hand and that's what's going to get it for you, do it. If it's going to be something that's like just raw and there's dirt still on there and there's rock encrusted and that's your jam, do it.
I'm typically drawn towards things that have more raw forms. I'm also really drawn to just like rocks that I find out and about necessarily over polished crystals in a store. That's kind of just my gig. So like for sure, more like raw, natural. Do I have polished stones? Yeah. And the criteria for me is that they have to be like a good fidget fit for my hand. Polished stones are kind of a turnoff for me. Like unless they fit in my hand real nice, like I'm not as interested. I want like some texture, some architectural drama, in my crystals.
With the natural crystals, do you think that they're better for magic than lab grown? Or do you think that the lab grown still has potential for magic?
For magic, I think you want a natural stone. And even better if you found it.
I do agree with the fact that typically in my own practice, all of mine are natural. With the difference between like the energies from the earth and like somebody growing it in their lab, to me in my brain, I'm like the chemicals are there, pressure, the whatever's needed to make that crystal's all there. So isn't that just a blank canvas for the energy that you want to put onto it?
Oh, that's a really interesting. Wow.
Theoretically, it's quote unquote, finger quotes over here, the same. Wouldn't that allow you to kind of put your own spin, your own especially if you're like the first to own it, I guess?
You guys definitely brought a lot to the light. Like I said before, I do believe that all kinds of crystals and all different kinds of gems, they call to their people and they set their intentions. When it comes to using it in the practice, I believe that the stones that are created from the earth hold a certain vibration. That doesn't mean that my way is better than anyone else's way. It just means that that's how I feel. Because just like grounding with your bare feet on the ground, you're grounding with that stone because of the way it was created in the earth. But on that note, there's also a lot of handmade stones, like handmade crystals, such as goldstone, which is a man-made crystal, air fingers, like you said, crystal, but it is something that has been used for like thousands and thousands of years. It was actually started with the Egyptians. They would take copper and they would shave them down and get them to a certain degree. And in the cooling process, it would create this glittery stone that we know of as goldstone. And even though that's a man-made stone, the components on the inside, such as the copper, that is from the earth. That is an element from the earth. I personally like earth-grown crystals, but to each their own.
We've been traveling together down a dark path. Now it's time to take a break and listen to some of our sponsors. A Dark Path will return after these messages.
Needing guidance on your dark path? Explore the mysterious world of Jupiter's Omens, offering handmade rituals, spells, and tools to focus your intention during spell work, vintage altar tools and decor, and intuitive tarot sessions utilizing claircognizance. Visit Jupiter's Omens, where the mystical and macabre meet, at jupitersomens.square.site. That's jupitersomens.square.site. crystals.square.site.
Can we touch on the ethics of crystal sourcing really quick?
I always think of what is it? I'm really bad at saying movie when it's a show and show when it's a movie, but I think it's a movie. Blood Diamond. All I can think of is like people going in, whether adults or children. That's you know either way, still really bad, and literally sacrificing themselves to pull out something pretty that we can have. That's where my brain goes to ethics is like, do we have these like tiny emaciated children going into tunnels and caves and extracting these just so that us in and I know it's not just us in America, but that's where my brain goes with all our capitalists and like,
The
wanting
West.
more,
You can say the
you
West.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, like well, I want this pretty crystal. It's going to help me in my practice, but I also care about that kid or that person that's going in to go get it. Are are we being okay with them? And then on top of that, are we over mining? Are we getting to a point where like don't even get me started on lithium batteries and how like we're digging out the earth for lithium, but things that we can do because as witches we want to give back. So if we take something from a flower, a plant, and we want to replant or we want to water or we want to fertilize, whatever we can to give back. But I don't know that much about the ethics and I don't know that much about what is being done and what is being done not just to get the gems and the crystals, but to stop the negative that's happening. I'm really curious, Tabitha, because I know that you do some research into like where you get yours. So
I want everything to come, from a happy place and have happy energy. But the sad thing about the crystal world is it's not like that, because the person that you may be purchasing it from may not even know where they got that from, or it's a long line, right? So I would say when buying crystals, do your research. There are certain crystals that only come from certain parts of the world, which would be obviously easy to research and find out how it's sourced. For example, ocean jasper, it's only in Madagascar. I know something that people really look down on at the moment is buying crystals out of like, and I don't mean this in any bad way at all, but buying them from China because China is a big expo for crystals. It's huge. And so they're obviously getting it at a discounted price from all over the world. They're selling it for a price where they're making money, but it's also a cheaper price than if I were to go straight to the source. Some people don't understand that China itself actually has stones that specifically come from there. That doesn't mean they don't come from other parts of the world, but for instance, fluorite. Fluorite is really huge in Asia. And so big portion of Asia is China. So you're going to get a lot of your fluorite from China. You just have to do your research. I also would like to say eventually I want to be able to like take myself to these places and get them myself because then I know where they came from. I did the work and I know that women and children and men aren't slaving away to get them. So I try to source as ethically as possible.
I just know that you need to know where your crystals are coming from. Another good rule of thumb is don't buy from big stores. If you're buying on a major online retailer, you don't know where those are coming from necessarily. If you're buying from a major discount retailer online, you don't know where those are coming from necessarily. Whereas your chances of having ethical product are higher if you purchase from a small business. Not always, but in general, those people tend to do their best.
yeah, and you can actually ask the person, where did you get this? And they should be able to say, hey, da 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 da, just like you're saying, this specific comes from this place and this specific comes from this place. Or whereas if you're at a big chain store or especially online, you can't ask anybody, not even to talk about like the ethics, but like what about like, is it real? Are you getting a real crystal or is it a glass bead?
Are there any crystals you can't or shouldn't use together?
I would not say that there is any crystal that you should stay away from or that you shouldn't mix together because like we've said many times on this episode, it's all about your intention and how you use it. Me personally, in my craft, the only way I would say not to use crystals is when you're trying to harm another person. I know sometimes certain situations come up where you need to stop someone's actions or thoughts or them, just stop them in their tracks from like even being in your life. But it's not to harm them, it's just to make distance between you and them. So that's how I feel on that. I don't believe that there is crystals you should not work with, but there are some crystals. For instance, I can hold tourmaline, I can have it around me, I can have it above my doorways, but the moment I put a tourmaline bracelet on myself or a tourmaline piece of jewelry, I feel like my blood pressure has dropped. So there's also like an aspect of how the crystals affect you. You're not going to want to wear a crystal that's going to make you feel like crap.
Whether you can or can't use things together, the sky is kind of the limit. Like your intention matters, right? So if you're attracting and then also exercising, that's a little confusing. But if somehow that matches your intention, YOLO.
The biggest thing for me is like if it is something that is stopping the other from working, maybe it's not a great idea. But at the same time, if your intent with those is same spell, different purposes, why not?
I think if your intuition is telling you to try something, you should try it. It's crystals, right? It's not going to hurt. You're not hurting anybody.
And if they,
It's just a
and if,
tool.
yeah, and if they put those labels on that, like, oh, you know, their opinion, like, oh, you shouldn't use this crystal with this crystal, they have already set the intention for those crystals.
How do you use stones in your practice? Makeshift crystal gridding around fire spells. Fire spells are a massive part of my life, and I use them to activate that. Love bracelets. I have an anklet. So jewelry in general. I like to sit them out and decorate my altar.
So on your altar, typically, this is not everybody, but you have your god and your goddess. I have a goddess moss agate body, which I love, which represents the earth, the mother earth, the feminine aspect. And then as my god, I have a moon labradorite, which represents the masculinity. And I use them in spell work like you, gridding. When I'm doing a spell of intention, I usually have stones surrounding my candle, or if I'm not using a candle, my spices or herbs or whatever you want to call them around it. Something that I do that I haven't seen a lot of people do is I'm really good with direction when I'm doing my spell work. And if there is somebody, say that I am doing a spell to ward their negativity away or anything, I use lots of points that point in their direction, such as like onyx, like an onyx point directed in their direction, just because I feel like that point is going to go their way faster. My bath, I have a giant chunk of raw rose quartz, which you know, when you're taking your baths, I feel it is self-love, and rose quartz is all about self-love. So I use that. I also use clear quartz in my bath.
I used to just toss them in. Like I would sit in the water with them, right? Like,
oh yeah. I also wear them on my body because cleansing your aura is very important.
Most of my crystal usage is literally just that, taking it with me outside of the home, feeling more comfortable in myself, and literally just having them on my person to either enhance something. I recently did the Seattle Underground tours because I've never done it and I've always wanted to. I was so excited because I'm like, this is an old area. There's possibility of residuals. Maybe I might see a spirit. Who knows? So I brought my Labrador. I can never say it. Labradorite. Labrador.
Labradorite. Yeah.
That if I bring something that's going to open up that third eye, if I bring something that's going to give me this extra like little bit to it, like maybe I might be able to get something come through. So I kind of do that where I decide this is the adventure I'm going on, or this is the day, you know, I need this for certain things. I don't use it as much in my spells. I've never had that connection for some reason. I use it more for almost like cleansing myself, helping me through the day or through a situation.
are there any stones that you stay away from, Kristen?
Not really. Honestly, the biggest thing for me is if I don't feel something from it, or if it doesn't resonate for me, it's not for me. And it's not necessarily it's not for me ever. It's just not for me right then.
I think the only stone that I had said previously that I kind of stay away from would be tourmaline. And I don't stay away from the stone itself. I just stay away from it being on my body because it affects me differently. It affects me negatively. It makes my legs weak. It makes me feel like, my blood pressure is dropping. And so that's not a very fun feeling. I get like a little lightheaded and dizzy. So yeah, that's I don't stay away from the stone, but I do stay away from it being in contact with my body.
I got out the entirety of my little crystal collection, and I'm looking at it here. I don't have any orange stones. None. So I don't have any stones that necessarily correspond with my sacral chakra. And I have trauma that's stored there. I have a big blockage there.
Like you're blocked, and not just in the chakra, but also from
This is it.
getting maybe the stuff that might help you.
Yeah, like I'm not drawn to it at all.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's almost like subconsciously your mind is like, whoa, stay away from that. I don't want to
Yeah.
deal with it.
Like naturally, like I've just like followed my intuition, right, and gathered stones together. So it's not that I'm actively necessarily staying away from these stones. I'm subconscious or I'm unconsciously staying away from these stones.
Can I kind of blow your mind a little bit,
Yes.
Allyson?
Yeah.
So I have to say that orange stone that you do have, that fire quartz, that was a gift from me. You did not purchase it.
That's right. I bought the peachy one, which is more white, pink, right?
And that leads right back into saying that your friends know what you need.
That's so interesting.
Like your unconscious, your subconscious is like, but everybody like, oh, hey, I know you. You need this.
I see you.
How
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, I see
But
you.
I have to say that when gifting it, I wasn't like, oh yeah, she blocked at her sacral. Like, oh, I'm going to give this to her because she needs it. That was not how that went because I learned about her Reiki session where she recently learned that was after I had gifted it to her.
I mean, I think it was kind of
intuitive.
intuitive, right? Like even if you're just being nice. Yeah, that's super interesting.
Yeah, something deep down is going, hey, do this thing. She needs this. And then, oh my gosh, the universe just works in such mysterious ways. And I love it.
So happy. This is the highlight of the podcast. I mean, it makes me very happy.
I think the highlight of the podcast is the next question, in which we talk about our favorite crystals at the moment. I really like my moonstone tombstone, and I have rainbow obsidian that I got from Tab. I really love that too. Moss agate is my favorite crystal right now. I'm like hella obsessed.
Lately, it's been a lot of labradorite and blue tourmaline. I've been trying to get a lot more in touch with when I was younger, I used to like see a lot of shadow people and a lot of different things like that. I literally have wanted to be connecting more with like whether they're my spirit guides or if it's my own theory of, alternate dimensional beings that are trying to get in touch with us or, what is this thing? And I feel like doing some of the labradorite, especially with its like protection and healing as well as its open-mindedness and being able to kind of bring that to you. It's what I've been working with, kind of my favorites recently.
I would challenge you to try to use Moldavite and not challenge in a bad way. But
yeah, when you brought that up, I was like, wait a minute, isn't that the one that came from the comet or whatever? And yeah, I'm writing that down.
I'm just going to go with the one that I keep putting on the most. And it's been fire quartz and moonstone. Since Beltane, I've been attracted to fire quartz. I don't know if it was because it was new in my shop and I bought a bunch of it and I was just in love with it. The rainbows, the way the slices from the iron inside of it, it's so like you can get lost in a piece of fire quartz. So if you get a good piece, you're going to see rainbows throughout the whole thing. And I've been attracted to moonstone because I just feel like I'm trying to get a little bit more in touch with my self-awareness and my feminine side. If you don't know, moonstone is a very feminine stone. I've been wearing those two a lot lately, like a lot.
What's our main takeaway from today?
My main takeaway is that crystals are fun. Crystals are exciting. Crystals are shiny. They're pretty. We love them. But also, it really doesn't matter how you use them or even if you use them, as long as it's something that helps you and resonates with you.
If you support your local small business, you're going to learn a lot. Like your local small business crystal dealer, you're going to learn so many things. You can ask all of your rock questions and they'll be excited to answer them. Just as excited as you are to ask them, like, I mean, maybe that's not the way to say that.
Yeah, I mean, when I first got into the crystals, I talked everyone's ear off until I realized, like, okay, I'm really boring these people because they're not interested, and I had to find my people. And in finding people, you find a way of life, and you actually start to realize there's more that connects us than just, a 9 to 5 or, your typical, like, being a mom. Like, I'm a mom of 3. Like, I learned that there's more to life. I'm not just a mom. I am also a person, and this is what I love to do, and I love to talk about it, and it brings people together. Somebody who I love taught me, and now I want to share it. So the takeaway for me is that whether you are like a beginner or you're someone who's advanced, I feel like you can always talk about crystals. I know it sounds dumb because some people will just be like, oh, you sell rocks for a living. You have to dive deeper than it just being rocks. Like, there's more to it. And in my healing journey, I've learned a lot. I'm into like herbalism and stuff now. Like, what?
I think we've referenced in a few episodes that crystals are a gateway drug.
For sure.
Like, for sure. Yeah. Next episode, we'll be diving into gender conditioning and the divine feminine, which we're very excited about. Tabby, is there anything else you'd like to say about Phases of Life crystals?
Again, I'm Tabatha with Phases of Life crystals. I hand make jewelry using all different kinds of stones and gems. I make earrings, necklaces, anklets, bracelets, statement pieces, raw or polished. I do Instagram lives, usually once every 1 to 2 months. Also have story sales, so they're always available on the website. You can find us at markets in Arlington, Washington, and we have the look or vibe for every phase of your life.
You can check Tabatha out on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Phases of Life Crystals. I follow her everywhere. I'm biased because she's my friend, but I also think her content is great. Her TikToks are funny. Her reels on Instagram are funny. She's doing a 1K giveaway when she hits 1,000 followers on Instagram. She's giving away some stunning pieces. 4 pounds, is that what you just... Oh my God. But the reel is like so cute and so funny. You have to go see it. You got to go follow her. Kristen, are you following her yet?
Actually, the funniest thing was I'm a TikTok slut. I love TikTok. I'm on it all the time. Probably too much. But she came up on one of my For You reels. And I was like,
Oh my
God, I
gosh.
know her. And I'm like. So,
Yes.
yeah, I was really excited. And I was like, yay. They are really good videos. So
You should
keep
follow
doing
her
it.
on Instagram. If you're not, Kristen, you'd be entered in that giveaway, dude.
Oh, that's true. Woo! I want rocks. Yeah,
I mean,
no, I'm totally gonna do that.
This giant, it's like a giant tower in a sphere, right? Like,
Yeah, so it's like a 3.9, so it's almost 4-pound moss agate tower. It's about the size of my forearm. And then there is a
it's so
sphere.
incredible.
There's a sphere that is, I think, close to 3 pounds that matches it. And those are both the giveaway for entering the giveaway.
Oh my gosh. Whoever gets that's gonna be so exciting. Well, this has been so much fun, you guys. Like, I have learned so much and I really had a great time. And thank you so much, Tabby, for joining us.
Thank
Such a
you guys
pleasure.
for having me. I appreciate it.
Such a pleasure. You're welcome.
You can always follow us too on TikTok and Instagram at A Dark Path Podcast.
Thank you for listening to and joining us on this episode of A Dark Path.
It is now that our time together must come to an end. Thank you for joining us on this journey, a dark path come to a bend. Find us here bi-monthly on your favorite place to stream, and follow us on social media for news in between. A Dark Path is there, winding and waiting ever. May you craft peace, knowledge, and alignment, so shall it be, or something better.